The city woke to the usual rhythm. Traffic hummed and the streets were alive with the energy of a new day. People hurried to their destinations, unaware of the impending doom. Birds chirped in the park, their songs a stark contrast to the chaos that was about to unfold. It was a day like any other, with families enjoying the sunshine and joggers making their rounds. But then the earth shook violently. Buildings trembled as if they were made of paper. The screams started a few moments later, piercing the air with sheer terror. They echoed through the concrete canyons, bouncing off the tall buildings. Something terrible had arrived. The first sign was the shadow, an ominous darkness that crept over the city. It fell across the downtown park, massive and dark, swallowing the light. People stopped, confused, looking up. The shadow moved, growing larger and more menacing. It belonged to a creature out of a nightmare, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was immense, towering over the cityscape. 12 feet tall at the hip, its presence was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Powerful legs like tree trunks propelled its bulk, crushing the pavement beneath. A massive head, lined with teeth the size of daggers, swung back and forth, searching for its next target. Its eyes, cold and reptilian, scanned the cityscape, taking in the chaos it had caused. This was its domain now, a world where humans were no longer the dominant species. Panic surged through the city like a virus. People screamed and ran. Cars slammed on brakes. The once bustling streets were now filled with chaos and confusion. The air was thick with the sounds of terror, a cacophony of honking horns, screeching tires, and desperate cries for help. The T-Rex roared again, a sound that vibrated in your chest and stole your breath. Its roar echoed through the concrete canyons, a primal scream that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who heard it. The sheer power of its voice was enough to paralyze even the bravest souls. This was no movie. This was real. The nightmare had come to life, and there was no waking up from it. The city was under siege by a creature from a time long forgotten, and survival was the only thing on anyone's mind. The T-Rex slammed into a bus, sending it spinning. Metal crumpled like paper. The force of the impact was unimaginable, turning a sturdy vehicle into a twisted heap of wreckage in seconds. The destruction was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. People scrambled away, desperate to escape the prehistoric predator. Their faces were masks of pure fear, their movements frantic and uncoordinated. The streets were a sea of humanity, all driven by the same primal instinct to survive. The creature was hungry. It was angry. Its eyes burned with a feral intensity, scanning the chaos for its next victim. There was a terrifying intelligence behind those eyes, a predatory cunning that made it even more dangerous. And it had just begun to feed. The carnage was only starting, and the city was its buffet. Each movement was calculated, each attack precise as it tore through anything in its path. Police sirens wailed in the distance, a futile attempt to restore order. The authorities were overwhelmed, their efforts to contain the situation proving useless against such a formidable foe. What could they do against such a creature? Their weapons were ineffective, their strategies useless. The T-Rex was a force of nature, unstoppable and relentless. Bullets bounced harmlessly off its thick hide. The creature's natural armor was impervious to conventional weapons, rendering the police's efforts futile. It was as if the T-Rex was mocking their attempts to stop it. They were outmatched. They needed something bigger, something stronger. The military was called in, their heavy artillery the last hope to bring down the beast, but even that might not be enough to stop the tyrant's rampage. The call went out. National Guard, Army. This wasn't a natural disaster. This was something far worse. This was an extinction-level event unfolding on live television. The world watched in horror. Military convoys roared into the city. Tanks rumbled down streets, their cannons pointed towards the monstrous threat. Helicopters circled overhead, providing aerial views of the unfolding chaos. This was no longer a city. It was a war zone. The T-Rex, distracted by a fleeing crowd, barely registered their arrival. It snapped at a news helicopter, its jaws closing just where the helicopter had been a moment before. The military had a chance. But for how long? Section 4. When Titans Clash. The first tank shell hit the T-Rex in the flank. The earth shook with the impact, sending tremors through the battlefield. Dust and debris flew into the air, creating a haze that momentarily obscured the monstrous creature. Smoke billowed, thick and black, curling into the sky. The dinosaur stumbled, its massive frame swaying. For a moment there was hope. The soldiers dared to believe that the beast could be brought down, that their relentless assault might finally be paying off. Then it turned. It roared, enraged, a sound that echoed across the battlefield. The battle was joined in earnest, a clash of titanic forces. The T-Rex's eyes burned with fury, its roar a challenge to all who dared oppose it. Tanks fired in unison, the ground trembling with each deafening blast. Helicopters strafed the creature with rockets, their trails streaking through the sky. The air was filled with the cacophony of war, a symphony of destruction aimed at the prehistoric giant. But the T-Rex was a force of nature, an unstoppable juggernaut. It shrugged off the attacks, its thick hide absorbing the blows. With each near miss, its fury grew, a palpable force that seemed to radiate from its very being. A roar, louder than any before, shook the air, reverberating through the hearts of the soldiers. The T-Rex charged, its massive legs pounding the earth, each step a testament to its raw power and unyielding will. It slammed into a tank, flipping it like a child's toy. The metal crumpled under its immense strength. Soldiers scattered, their formations breaking in the face of the beast's onslaught. Some didn't make it. The smell of blood filled the air, a horrifying mix of metallic tang and primal musk. The battlefield was a scene of chaos and carnage, a stark reminder of the cost of this epic confrontation. Section 5. Echoing Aftermath. This wasn't a battle, it was a massacre. The T-Rex, wounded but not defeated, stood triumphant over the wreckage of the city. It had faced the might of the modern military and emerged victorious. The world watched in stunned silence. The age of technology had clashed with the primal power of nature, and nature had won. As the sun set on the ravaged city, one question echoed. Could humanity ever hope to control forces beyond its comprehension? The answer, blowing in the wind, was a terrifying silence.